Hello everyone, 皆さんこんにちは. My name is Martin and this is WabiMoji. If you want to know more about me, you can check this video where I talk about my experience in Japan and about Japanese calligraphy. In today's video, we will learn the next 5 letters in the Hiragana alphabet, which are sa, shi, su, se, so. And like in the previous videos, there are 3 parts. The first one will be focused on rules, how to write the letters correctly. Then there will be a short part with common mistakes, and finally a few minutes of practice. Remember that it's important to come and check these rules from time to time and practice a little bit more so you don't go in wrong direction with your letters. Okay, so prepare your coffee or tea and let's dive into it.
Now let's have a look at the first letter of the next line in the Hiragana alphabet. So it's Sa. I will write it first. Okay, so this is Sa. Now let's have a look at each line. First of all, we have to start here on a rather low position and go straight and up like this. And then we find here position on the left side of this middle vertical line, and the next line is slightly curved, right? And then we find this position here, and we imagine we have to go down, but we then try to go right. Okay, and again, make sure this line is long enough, right? So we start here a low position and not very far from this side, and we move up like this. So we have an angle of, I don't know, maybe 15 degrees, maybe more. And then we find this position here on the left side and enter the paper like this. Again, this is something that comes from brush writing. Even if you don't have this kind of point here, it's not a problem. I prefer to do it because it looks nicer. Make sure that this one is slightly curved, right? And it stops here very close to the center, okay, in the middle of this right side. And then you create this kind of hook here, which means that you have to think you will unite this one with this one, this point with this one, and leave a little bit of space here. And here, imagine first you have to go down, right? So if you go like this, it's not nice. So imagine you have to go down first and then swiftly, right, smoothly start to move your hand to the right, and make sure you stop here. Do not make this one too long. Okay, so once again we start here, low position, straight long line, and move here, rather curved line, right, and here down and right. You can think that you have the same amount of space here and here. Sometimes this one might be a bit bigger, but well, it's okay if you think it's the same amount of space. And actually this line, right, the first line has the center on this vertical middle line. Okay, so it's here, what you have here, okay, is the same with what you have here, but because the next line, right, it's a little curved, it doesn't cross the same point here. Okay, so it crosses this line here like 1 millimeter or maybe 2 millimeter to the right, right, which makes actually this one, okay, this part longer than this one. Okay, so please be careful, this is important. And what you have here regarding the next line here, what you have here, it's pretty much of the same amount with what you have here. So sometimes this one might be a bit longer, but I think it's okay if you consider they're of the same length. Okay, and here we need a nice space. Okay, and to create this one, first of all, we have to move here, make sure we leave a little bit of space here, and make sure it's inside. Okay, do not start here somewhere, it's in the middle or maybe close to this line rather than this one. And then, because as I explained to you, here we think, I mean, we want to go down first, we managed to create finally this space. If we go straight like this, then we cannot make this space, so we go down and then to the right. Again, leave a little bit of space here as well, right? Like you did here. Maybe this one it's a bit bigger than this one. And finally, stop here, stop sooner than this point. So if we imagine we have a vertical line here, this point doesn't cross this one. If it touches it, it might be okay, but if it goes like till to this point, it's not nice. The letter doesn't look very nice. Let's have a look now at a few common mistakes. So what you will see very often is maybe something like this. Maybe something I will try to make to imitate. First of all, let's see this line, right? This line. This is too short, right? This is too short. So it has to start here on a lower position and make sure it's long enough. Okay, so this is one point. Then the next thing, right, I will draw it once again. Let's see the next line. Well, maybe this is not that bad, let's say, but because we started this one here and not here, what happens is that this part is too short and this one too long, right? And another thing, it doesn't cross like the middle, like it's not like just a cross. We start here, and because this one it's a bit curved, it goes like this and makes this part longer than this part, and we have to stop here somewhere after this line and go like this. And now let's check the last line, right? So let's say we have the same letter. Okay, the last common mistake, let's say, is related to the starting point actually of this line. Okay, so if we think that we have this line like this, right, and this one like this, then as you can see, this point is too far, right, from this one, I mean horizontally. If I consider this line that I just wrote here. Okay, this one is on the pretty much the same level, well, which is better, but still the starting point of this line is too close to this side, so make sure you move it here somewhere inside. Okay, and because of this, if you don't draw this vertical line curved enough and reach this point, then you will not have enough space between the two, and the next place here will be smaller and smaller. So, but because I end up here, I have enough space, so I can start even here. Even here, if I start is still okayish. But let's say we start here and we go down and draw this line like this. Okay? So now I can say I have a nice space here inside. Okay, so this is too far. Right? This is too far. Now let's practice together. So again, make sure you're relaxed, enjoy the practice. The next letter is she. So first of all, well, we have to start here on the left side. Okay, make sure you leave enough space here and enough space here, and then we go down with the vertical line, right? So only when we reach this point here, let's say, we start to think that we have to make this curve and then leave the paper like this. Okay, we enter like this the paper, right? And then go down with the vertical line. Make sure you don't start here somewhere. Make sure it's a long vertical line, and let's say here somewhere you start to make this curve. And at the end, do not leave the paper like this up the way. It's rather to the sides, right, to the right side. So imagine you have to go right, then you have to go up, right? And once again, we start here, go down and right. Well, imagining that this is the center, the middle line of this half left side of our square. Well, as you can see, this one is here somewhere, right? Do not go too far here. Also, do not go too close to the middle vertical line. Okay, so we need some space here, and you should have a bigger space on this side. Okay, this is very important. And also make sure that you have enough space here. Okay, and enough space here. Okay, they are pretty much of the same size, maybe a bit bigger here at the bottom. Okay, and well, next point is well, this space. Well, this is a big nice space that we have to create here. Okay, so like this. And for this, it's important to keep this line you know to and for this we need to have a soft curve here, right? If we go up abruptly here, like up the way, we cannot create this space. But if we go to the right, then we can create a bigger circle here inside, right? So this is a softly curved line. Okay, something like this, I would say. And well, of course, make sure you do not go too far. We need a little bit of space here as well. Now let's check some common mistakes. Well, in the case of this letter, I think there are two common mistakes. One of them, well, let me try to imitate. We need to start, maybe this is okay. I would prefer to start here a bit more to the left side, but more than that, make sure this is not too narrow. Okay, make sure it's large enough. Okay, something like this. And of course, the biggest problem is related to this kind of hook, right? So I will try to do the same thing once again. This is not a hook like this. Well, if it's a hook, then it's a soft one. And again, we start here, go down, and then softly make a curve like this, right? Do not go up, right? Do not go up too soon, right? It's to the right. Okay, so 1 and 2, something like this. Okay, so take a pencil, a ballpoint pen or fountain pen, whatever you have, it's fine. And let's enjoy the practice for a few moments. The next letter is Su. So let me write it first. Okay, so this is Su. And we start with this let's say horizontal line, but like in the case of sa, we have to make sure it's long enough, and we start on a lower position, well, not that low as in the case of saw, maybe here somewhere, let's say, but we have to make sure it's well, a bit curved and long enough, right? And then the next line, we start on the right side, so make sure necessarily on the right side, not here on the center, but on the right side. And we go down with a vertical line, and then up and down again. We touch this point. Okay, so we are again on the vertical line, and we think we have to go down, but finally we leave the paper like this. Okay, so long line here, a bit curved maybe, right? And with a little bit of angle, maybe 5 degrees, 10 degrees or so, but it's not a straight horizontal line. It's a bit curved and up the way, just a little bit, okay? And then necessarily start on the right side. This is straight, okay? It's straight, and we keep going straight until we cross this line first, and we reach this point here somewhere, let's say. And next, make sure you go up the way like this. Okay, so this is not a circle here, it's an oval. Okay, so it's a kind of an egg-shaped sign here. Okay, so it's not a circle. And then we go like this, and finally we go down back to this point. So when we reach this point, okay, so necessarily you have to return on the same position and continue for a few, maybe 2 millimeters or so. You are basically covering again the same line, and think you have to go down, and only after you left this oval here, then you can finally go with the curved line like this to the left and leave the paper. Okay, so let's see the positioning. Okay, I will write it once again. 1, 2, something like this. As you can see, we have pretty much the same amount of space here on the sides, but it's just a little bit because we need to have a long line here. Necessarily start on the right side. Okay, some people will start even here very far, and when you write it more artistically, let's say, well, it's better to start even farther, but since we're trying to get the basics here, let's keep with the standard. But even in the standard form, do not start on the middle line. Make sure it's on the right side. And because this is on the right side, you will see that this part here is longer than this one. Okay, and then we have pretty much the same amount of space here, let's say. Okay, well, in this case, well, this one, it's a bit shorter, well, but it's pretty much of the same length, I would say. And then this egg-shaped place, well, it's like this. Okay, so make sure it's egg-shaped, is not a round circle, and for that you have to go up, as I explained, and like this, and then come back to the same place, and leave a little bit of space here at the bottom. And this is I think pretty much all regarding the positioning. Make sure that you leave here on the left side, not on the right side, so it's okay if you make a curve here at the end. Now that we checked the basic rules, let's have a look at the common mistakes. The same as in the case of letter sa, many people will write something like this. I mean, this one as a straight horizontal line and very short, right? And maybe they will do something like this. Okay, let's say this has to be long enough, right? So we don't start that low like in the case of sa. We might start here somewhere, but it's a bit curved and long, should be long enough, right? It's maybe almost double the size of this one here. And next problem is regarding the next line, the start of this one, right? Okay, so as you can see, because I draw this one here and this one here, this will make this part very short and this one very long, right? But if I draw this one here, okay, then I will have a nice balance. And more important than that, this is not in the center, right? This is not necessarily start here somewhere, right? Start here somewhere. Okay, and maybe the most difficult part is this not here at the end. You might see people writing it this side or just making a circle and ending up this side, so it looks like a kind of a pigtail. Again, we have this line and then we start on the right side, and this is not a circle, right? This is not just like this. We have to go up the way and then come back on the same line, right? On the same vertical line. And as you can see, this is not a circle, it's a kind of an egg-shaped form. Okay, and then after we reach this point, we can slowly leave the paper with a curved line. Okay, so time to practice. Let's now have a look at the next letter. It's the letter C. Okay, so this is how we write it. Now let's check together the rules. First of all, we have to start on a very low position, so very close to the middle line, okay, and not very far from the side, okay. So, and we go up with an angle of, let's say, 20 degrees or so. Maybe this is not enough. I should have written it a bit steeper, but well, let's say something like this. And then next one starts here. Okay, we enter like this, and this is almost straight. And at the end, we have a kind of hook here. And then we start on a lower position than this one. Okay, and go down, and then at the end we do this kind of curve and end up rather flat like this. Okay, so we enter like this as usual, and then we go up with a 20 or 30 degrees angle, right? Maybe this is not enough. I should have written it a bit more steeper. Okay, and then we enter like this and go down with this rather straight. This is straight actually, and because we have to do this hane, which is like something like a hook here, okay, at the end it will look a bit like a curve, but well, you can think is just a straight line, okay. And well, please do this, okay, this is necessary. These ones are optional, but this one you should have, because this one connects with this point here, right? And this one is straight at the beginning, then we do a little bit of a curve here, and then we end up flat, okay, something like this. Make sure you don't make this one too long, right? So this is we have this point here. Make sure this one doesn't go farther than it. Once again, right? So as you can see, this line should be long enough, right? So it's not short, it's a rather long line, and we need to leave a little bit of, just a little bit of space here, right? So these are of the same size, let's say, and we start here very close, right? So it's just a 1 millimeter, let's say, of space there. And as you can see, this letter has a lot of symmetry. What I mean is that, well, if you look closer, this line, well, is parallel with this one and with the middle line, which actually makes this be of the same length, right? So you can think all these parts have the same length, and this is very easy to, I mean, makes things easier. Like, this is something that if you have in mind, you can easily find the proper balance. Okay, then make sure you have a little bit of space here, and that this space here at the bottom is bigger than this one. Okay, bigger than this one. And next, do not start here, okay, on the same line with this one. Start on a lower level. Well, this one is pretty much of the same length with this one here, right? Let's say it might be maybe this one a bit longer, sometimes this one longer, but you can consider they have the same length. And again, it's important to end up here, okay. Do not make this line too long. So as you can see, this one ends here, right? Doesn't go too far. So now let's have a look at some common mistakes, right? I will try to imitate. Okay, you might see something like this. And the first common mistake is related to the first line, okay, the position and the length. It should be longer than this one, and it should start at a lower position. If you write it here up at the top, then well, you have this one will look very long, right? So you have to start here and end up here somewhere. As you can see, it's longer and it's at a lower level. Okay, then if you look at the next line, this one, right, many people would think this is just a curved line, something like it looks like a kind of a small round bracket, sometimes like this. Well, it's not. It's a rather straight line, right? So you go straight and then you curve it just a little bit at the end, because we have to, okay, start the next line here. Okay, and the last line, well, this might have a lot of problems. First of all, if you write it too close, right, to the top, it's not good. So as you can see, this is pretty much on the same level, and is not nice. So if we start with this one here, then this line should necessarily start on a lower level. Okay, lower level. Okay, something like here, and again, not too far from the middle line. As I told you, we have the same, pretty much the same amount of space right here and here. Okay, like here. Okay, so start here somewhere, let's say, and go down, and then like this. And this is the last mistake you might do related to this line. Is not something like a hook. Okay, some people might write it like this. Okay, it's not like a she. It goes down and then it's a bit curved and ends up rather flat at the end. Okay, and this being said, let's practice together for a few minutes. And now the last letter in this tutorial, so. Okay, so this is how we write it. The first point is about, well, this upper part. It's okay if you just draw a line. It's okay also if you do something like this and then this kind of thing and reach this point and do the next line like this. Okay, so the idea is that well, these 2 points are connected. Just choose the one that you like. I prefer in this tutorial, because we want to focus on basics, to keep it connected, right? And then we go up and down again, something like this, let's say. First of all, okay, so you enter like this and go up, okay, and then you go down. I think this angle here is a bit too tight. I will try to make it a bit bigger next in the next letter, but the idea is to have the same, okay, the same angles here, okay. And then we start, so this is a straight line, and the next one is starts at a lower level, very close to the middle line, and it goes up, okay. And this is also straight, and you can stop here. So usually this one is like this, so you can actually write so in a single, like in a single line like this, but it's okay if you stop here and then put again your pencil or your pen here in this spot, and then go back, right? So do not go down directly like this. Make sure you, for 1 millimeter or maybe 2 millimeters, you go back on the same line, okay. Go back on the same line and then start to make this curve like this, okay. And do not continue too much, right? We should end up before this line here, right? So let me write it once again. So 1, 2, 3, start here and up, right? And then from this point go back on the same line and then do the curve and stop here, okay. So maybe this is the best the best form, right? These angles are a bit too small, so make sure you have a nice angle here and here. And let's check a few other points. First of all, well, of course this one, it's a bit bigger, right, this space here, than this one. And of course the letter should be balanced, so we have the same amount of space here between these points and these 2 points and the sides, right? And because of this we will have basically the same distance here and here. And next we have to make sure we create this space here, okay. This is very important, and for this, as I told you, you have to go back a few 1 or 2 millimeters on the same line here. Do not go down like this, right? So go back and then make this curve. At the end, make sure you stop here, right, before, you know, reaching this vertical line. Ideally you should have something like this, right? Something like this, okay. But but even if this one and this one are on the same line, is not that bad. But definitely do not make this one too long and reach the same line with this point. And of course at the end you need to leave here a little bit of space. It's pretty much the same amount with this one actually. Now let's have a look at some common mistakes. You might see very often something like this, maybe something like this. And we have here the same the first problem. Okay, this line, right? It's not an horizontal line, is not oblique like this. It should be like this actually, right? It's not necessarily wrong if you just draw a line, but I prefer to write it like this, right? Because it's connected and it's up and then down, right? Then the next problem is the angle, right? It might be you know, because this line it's going down abruptly. Well, it ends up here. It should end up here somewhere above this line, and this angle and the next angle here should be of the same size, I would say. Okay, something like this. And of course this line here is too short. It's too short, right? It should be this long, I would say. Okay, something like this. This one is too short, definitely. And the last problem, well, this part, okay, this line, as I told you, you can actually draw all the letter in a single line, but considering we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, the last part here, okay, is not just a hook. So this one has actually 3 problems. One of it is the fact that it's going down here. We should go back on the same line first, and because we're doing this, we managed to finally touch this middle line and come back, right? So you need to think you have to touch the vertical line here before going this way. Okay, and another thing is too short. It's too short, right? We should make it a bit longer. And at the end, do not make this kind of hook here, right? It's not like this. It's just ending up here, right? You have to stop actually here and do nothing. You just stop before reaching this wall. Write it again. Okay, so let's say we have something like this. This is the third mistake, right, related to this part. Okay, so we should have something like this. Okay, go back on the same line, touch this point, and then here. Now that we have a look at the common mistakes, let's try to practice together for a few moments. So again, relax and enjoy the time of practice.
Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this practice. We did sashi, suse, so another five letters of the hiragana alphabet, and we will do more in the next tutorials. So please stay tuned. Remember the most two important rules: do not, twist your wrist like this. Try to keep it straight when you write, and also use your whole body when you write longer lines. If you like this tutorial, then don't forget to subscribe, and also you can support me on Patreon. The links are in the description. Well, good luck, and see you in the next video.